Today, I feel really inspired to share a little bit from my own journey as a human design reader and teacher and expert. And I think this is going to really help you guys a lot because when I first started with human design and to teach it with others, and I gave readings, I first felt like, because this is what mostly is being taught in human design, that I just have to focus on the human design type, right? We have the projector, we have the manifester, the reflector, the generator, and the manifesting generator. And I later on learned that your chart can just look so vastly different, even though you're the same type. And when I was giving readings, when I was just mainly focusing on the information of the type and even like the general information on the centers, I mean, all stuff that you can really find online. Of course, I put my own intuitive insights into it as well. But the more I focused on the big information of human design, right? And again, the types, I actually started to notice that Annalena, I felt very drained. And at some point, I actually felt like I can no longer give readings. So in a way, I think the universe was showing me that, hey, I'm taking your energy away because we need to do this differently. And when I had the courage to switch from focusing on the general information of human design to actually simply looking at my client's charts and really being with the person, listening to the person, and then intuitively looking at the charts and looking at the very specific elements in the chart. That's really when things started to feel amazing. I could do more sessions. Things were also going much better financially. I was calling in more dream clients and all of that. So many people also that come to me now for readings, they often share with me that they're quite disappointed when they have a human design reading because they just received some very basic information about the type, you know? And I get it, right? Because in a way I have been there before because when I first got trained in human design, I went through 4 different levels. And then the first level, we just learned about the type. And again, for many people, that information was in a way life-changing, and maybe they had to hear it from me specifically. And I still find that every human design reading I ever gave was life-changing. But when I really went beyond the type and I could look at a person's chart in depth, that's really when things started to be magical and like really changing people's life. And people are like, wow, I just feel like so energized now. I just feel like I have so much clarity now. I feel like so seen now. And for that, let me actually share you a little graphic where I want to show you what I mean when I say, well, you can be the same type, but you can be so different. So here we have 2 human design charts. They don't have any name, but both are 5-1 generators with sacral authority. So we could say, oh, exactly the same applies to these 2 people, right? But I want you to just look at these charts, how different they are. So this person here has only 2 centers defined, very open, undefined design. This person has 6 centers defined. And yeah, it's both a 5-1 profile, but all these gates, they're very, very different, you know? And this is something when I do a human design reading, I mainly tune into the energies of the gates based on what I hear my clients say, based on the questions that are coming up, right? And also when I keep asking deeper questions to my client, that's really where I can reveal the most magic because over the years, I have learned that the true magic is in the individuality of every person. And we have to think about this. If we take 8+ billion people and put them in 5 categories, I think that just is not possible. And the deeper I have studied human design over the years, and this is from my own contemplations with my human design chart and working with hundreds of clients so far in through one-on-one session readings and also in many of my group containers, that every human design type, I see it more as an archetype. Because even though, so in my tropical chart, I'm a manifesting generator, I mean, this was incredibly profound information for me, but where I really felt deeply seen is in the nuances of the chart, the defined centers, the undefined centers, the gates and the channels. And then also the gates and the channels, like what planets are they activated in? It's really like an art to really understand the human design chart. And because I have experienced this so deeply, and I think people are ready and are really craving for a more unique view of the human design chart that goes beyond just the type, I actually have finally decided, has been in the making for quite some time, a brand new conscious human design certification that's coming out at the end of Q4, at the end of Q4. I think it's meant to be Q1 2025. That just comes better out of my mouth right now. So in the first quarter of next year. And I'm currently really in the envisioning process. I already have a lot of details figured out, but the landing page is probably going to come out more by the end of October. And once it's there, I'll make sure I update this YouTube video here, or I share it with you in my email, on my Instagram, and everywhere, because I feel so deeply passionate about the way that I approach human design. I feel like it's very unique because there's nothing against the regular teachings of human design, but one of the things that I learned first through my own intuition, I was just like, there's just something off with just these 5 types. Because people, so many times, they actually feel limited by the types. People come to me over and over again and say, like, oh, I'm so sorry, like that I'm asking you a question or reaching out to you because I'm a projector and I shouldn't do that. And I'm like, who told you that? Yeah, I have to wait for an invitation. Waiting for an invitation doesn't mean you cannot reach out to people. So many of the things I think they are misunderstood, especially from a strategy and authority. And I have a whole different way of teaching it because we all get invitations, like all of the types and all of the characteristics from the 5 types, they in some way apply to all of us. Most of us have a lot of projected energies in the chart. And we all have some initiating energy, right? It's not just only manifestors are here to initiate. We all have elements from the reflector in some way where we are attuned to the lunar cycle. We all are here to respond to life, not only if you're a generator. Everyone is here to do what lights you up, right? For me, that's human design. Like when I talk about human design, I'm like, okay, let's talk for hours and go on and on and on. And there's something also for you. So again, that doesn't only apply for the generator or the manigen. And also, yes, manigens are multi-passionate, but that doesn't mean all the other types cannot be multi-passionate. And I cannot tell you how many people, again, tell me over and over again, they are so relieved when they're like, oh my gosh, I thought that only if I'm this type, I can be multi-passionate, or I can only do this if I'm this type. So they were actually limiting themselves. They were not taking action on things. Human design is only ever here to expand you into your highest calling. It is never here to limit you in any way or form. And that's really like a very big mission of mine that I want to bring out into the world. And what I wanted to get there when I was talking about the 5 types where I intuitively felt there's something off is that I now learned from listening to many people that actually in the very beginning were working with Ra Uruhu that brought human design into the world. There were no 5 types. The way that you looked at the human design chart was without the conversation about the types. It's like when you have an astrology reading, right? We don't have types there, but every chart is so incredibly unique. And in astrology, we may be like, yeah, I'm an Aquarius sun, and then you relate to people that are an Aquarius sun. So there is kind of a connection we have. But it's just so important that we really understand the uniqueness of everybody's chart beyond just the types. And of course, on my journey, which has further validated this, is that as I was following what lights me up and what feels right in my body, that's the one big message of human design: to trust yourself, to trust your body over your mind, what your mind is trying to tell you. And it pulled me into True Sidereal astrology, and then True Sidereal human design or cosmic human design, which is a totally different version of your human design chart. So I was a manifesting generator in my tropical chart. It was totally right for me at the time. And then as I evolved and worked on myself deeply, now I mainly work with my True Sidereal chart. I feel much more aligned with that, you know? And if I wouldn't have this open, expansive view beyond the types, I think that endeavor would have been quite impossible for me. And almost every day, I get messages from people. I almost want to cry, like thanking me for opening up this conversation, because so many people have told me that, yeah, something just felt off. I was trying to put myself into a box, and now they find this deeper alignment with True Sidereal human design. And when I do readings now, I actually look even at two charts. I look at your tropical human design chart and I look at your True Sidereal human design chart. Very often there are a lot of common themes, and there's like a story and a transition into the other chart. And it's such a beautiful, expansive way. And people feel liberated. They feel literally free to be themselves. And there's nothing that could make me happier, because why do I do what I do? Not to just make money and, like just for the sake of it, right? Because I could work a corporate job for that. Let's be real. My main motivation is to really help human beings live their most authentic life, where you're just so freaking happy just because you are. Because you give yourself permission to be and do you, which is going to be so different from what anything else is out there. Every one of us is so unique. And even if you are like me into teaching human design, you're going to do it your way, because you have your story, you have your experience, you have your tone of voice, you have your unique essence, which is beautiful. And there will be some people that exactly are going to resonate with you, just like some people are exactly going to resonate with me. And I have found over and over again, also for me as the student, when I listen to people that are really doing what they're being called to from the inner calling of their soul, right? Where there's like a pure intention behind what they do, I have these magical aha moments. I get it. It's so transformative for my own journey. But every time when I am a student and I learn from people where there is just this fake energy, they're trying to be something they're not. And I think this can really happen when we try to put ourselves into a box, even with human design, when things feel off, but we think that's what we have to do, and then we're stuck in the mind, right? And that's often when in the past, I spent money on things and I was just like, oh gosh, like another wrong investment for myself, right? And luckily, especially this year has shifted a lot. I have really created like a zero tolerance for inauthenticity. Anything that feels fake, I have unfollowed any and all of that. And I have attracted the most incredible mentors and human beings and clients into my life, where there's also this pureness and this authenticity. And I really believe it has a lot to do with the work that I have done with human design and really seeing every chart in such a unique way. So I hope this inspires you. And also, listen, if you're listening to this right now and you're a human design reader and you feel like there's something that's just a little bit misaligned, or you kind of feel like it's also draining your energy, then maybe this is why. Maybe there's a little bit more beyond just the type, right? And like I said, I will be sharing more about my upcoming certification that's coming out next year. It's going to be a whole transformative 9-month journey to actually build also a thriving business and get you in total alignment with who you really are, so that you can show up as your most authentic self, which is going to be the most magnetizing you can ever be. And yeah, I'm just really excited about this. And I think that's just the reason why I have had such a profound experience with human design where I first was so excited about it. I learned what doesn't work, and then I really learned what works. And I know I can only coach one-on-one, especially so many people, and do readings, that I feel really called to teach you how to get this teaching that are much more expansive for human design, right, out into the world so we can create a global shift in consciousness and really help people, like thousands and millions of people, to step into their power, to step into their authenticity, right? Where they get out of living a life of compromise because they think that's what they have to do to make a living, and really allowing themselves to make a really abundant living from really doing what they love. So this was my downloaded message. I didn't know exactly what I was going to say when I turned on the recording. I hope this serves you. I would love to hear any of your main takeaways. I would love to hear from your human design journey if you are a student, or maybe you're a trainer, guide, coach yourself with that. And I wish you well, and I see you next time. Bye, everyone.